of FFT Himalayan Thrust Produce Private Limited, who are running an entire cold chain of apple produced by small growers collective in Himachal and Uttarakhand. We have one controlled atmosphere storage at Nagaon, Uttarkasi, Uttarakhand. The pre-cooling, 8 pre-cooling structures at different growing area, equipped with sorting equipment, collection facilities, and we also a fleet of 12 refrigerated trucks for bringing the apples from production area to control atmosphere storage facility and from there to the market. We are working with Apple Growers Collective since 2007, and we established this controlled atmosphere storage in 2011. From 2011 till now, every year we are buying apples from the members of our farmer collectives in 8 different areas, and we are supplying those apples to our buyers in the market, different markets like Delhi, Lucknow, Patna, Bhubaneswar, Kolkata, Jaipur, Indore, and Amravati. From Dehradun, Haldwani, apart from Dehradun, Haldwani, and Simla. We, with the entire team of our businesses and the investors who provided finance to these facilities, and bankers who are financing our stock of apples, and we are also with the partnership of these farmer collectives, these farmer groups, are trying to build up a fair price method. Last time I talked about fair pricing in agri-value chain with the reference of tomato. But based on this experience, and we felt that the pricing method in agri-value chain is play an important role for ensuring the food security to the consumers, to the citizen of any country, and decent livelihood, decent income and livelihood support to the farmers, to the growers. Not only growers, but also the employees of businesses in these agri-value chain, either it's collecting, storing, processing, or distribution. Principally, it seems very easy to build these prices with general economic principle of cost plus profit, and at each level, and then arrive at the fair prices. But in all agricultural commodity in general, and particularly in the case of thrust producers, this is very difficult. That's why worldwide the farmer agitations are going on. Despite of backstopping by some big cooperatives and supply chain company around the world, or the fair trade companies, or consumer product producers, all these companies are trying at their different level, the companies at different level, the farmers and their collectives and cooperatives, and at another different level, the larger number of financiers and investors also financing these value chains, productions, and distribution system. Government also trying to make a lot of intervention through policies, through subsidies, through supporting of minimum prices, through building the storage facility, distribution system, allowing import, putting duties, and controlling the market or export in particularly the exports of different commodities. But at the end, there is no any perfect system is available. Today, I will discuss, based on our experience, the whole scenario in Apple chain, what we experienced from 2011 till now. And this year, the biggest problem with the storage company, with the auctioneers in the market, and also with the retailers, is going with excess supply of apples during off season, while it was faced as very limited production during procurement season, during harvest season. But despite that, the huge supply is still staying in the market. This year, when harvest was on from August to October, the prices were skyrocketed. Comparing with last year and previous 5 to 10 years, it was just double this year. No storage company engaged in this business Apple was able to fill more than 50% of their capacity. But due to lower production, no storage company was able to fill more than 50. And some companies didn't even bought the apple for 10% or 20% of their capacity, because the prices were very high, and it was affected, the production was affected by unseasonal rain and snow during flowering season. If we look last year's harvest, in context of farmers' net income, farmers' net sales from lower production, in terms of money, in terms of rupee, it was same when they have excess production. And that's why, due to this lower production, the prices was high. But the second tier of value chain, the storage company and the auctioneer in the market, they thought that these lower production and higher prices will also continue to going up in off-season. As I said earlier, the prices were just like double of harvesting season compared with the normal season when for last 5 to 10 years. And the industry players at every level thought that it will move up to 3 times to 4 times, or in general terms, double of the purchase price of harvesting season during off season, during now, and they will make money out of this, like they are generally made during last 3-4 years. But the prices during off season, it's same. same as compared to during last 3-4 years, and it was at par or even below with the purchase price of storage and marketing. The storage company engaged in apple storing, known how to store these fruits, the fresh fruits. They know how quickly the fruit need to cool down, what they need to apply the optimum combination of bringing down O2 oxygen and putting up the CO2 in the controlled atmosphere room, and they keep, due to with the help of these technology, they keep the fruit as fresh as they got during harvesting. But when this year's price during harvest season was very high, the buyer in the market, the auctioneer and the retailer also thought that they can store the apple this year and they will make more money during off season uh, by selling their own apple rather going to the storage company. And they bought apple from farmers and they further stored those apples, those fruits in the normal cooling condition, normal cold storage, where the less quality fruit affected by the bad weather during 2023 production year due to extreme wet, moist condition of heavy rains in the mountains last year. And also, the farmers supplied more chemicals to protect their fruits from insects. So what happens? The apple stay more with the auctioneer, with the retailer, than it was normally with the storage company. And at the same time, the government announced a policy by importing apples without putting any duty over it, which was 50% on the prices, import prices of apples during last many years, more than 10 years. They lived this duty, and government announced that if any seller in the foreign country supply the apples below rupees 50 per kilogram to India, no duty will be charged. So it also allows importer to import more apples from other countries at cheaper prices, or at the prices, I think 30%, 25 to 30% of the prices during harvest season of our own apple in India. And all these factors combined the oversupply of apple fruits this year from November till now, which impact bringing down the prices of off-season apple around half of the prices during the storage company paid to the farmers during harvest season. Now, if you look on the effect of all this price structure on the farmer, on businesses, supply chains, importers, and consumers, everyone is feeling the situation of lose. The consumer losing the quality fruits because The unexperienced retailers and auctioneers in the market kept the fruits in normal cooling condition without knowing how to handle with these fruits, how to keep the freshness of the fruits, and consumer got inferior quality apple than they had last year's or years before. So the consumers lose the quality. They paid less this year than the harvest price. But if we compare the prices with last 3-4 years, the consumer prices are same now. The consumer prices is equal to the last year's price, maybe 10-20% less, but for the inferior quality of apples. So the consumer lose the quality. They have inferior quality food at same prices. If we compare the benefit and losses of the retailer, the fruit sellers, they stored their own apples bought from farmers during last harvesting season at very high prices, just double of 2022, the last pre. They bought at very higher prices and put those apples into storage where the apples lose the quality. They started selling in the competition of imported apple at one, and with the prices in the market in general during off season, the prices was in the beginning the same like last years, but in comparison of this year's harvesting prices, the purchase prices, the prices are 5 to 10% less than they bought. They need to put money expenditure on it, so they lose money. Consumer lose the quality, retailer lose the money, and also they got less consumers to buy apple. The consumer switches from apples to other fruits. That is the problem with them. So they also lose. The consumer lose, retailer lose. Now come to the auctioneers. Earlier, the practice was auctioneers in the APMC markets and other terminals use their skills of and their relation with the farmers or storage company and put some money or their relations also with the buyers, and they are mediators, intermediaries generally. These intermediaries use their relation and their risk of paying advance to the farmers and waiting the money to retailers or any other buyers. So they lose their road. They store their own apple with one. They are not now. They are not. They are now not playing as auctioneer, as intermediary, but they are also the business. They are also the storage company, and they are selling their apples to the retailers who already have their own apple also. So, and the apple with retailers is inferior quality than the apples stored by the auctioneers, because auctioneers somehow know better about the technology of storing than the retailer, but they are not able to use more equivalent or efficient technology like the storage companies has. So even in the case of control atmosphere, they don't have those capacity of measuring freshness, sugar level of fruits, because they stored their apple in the boxes, and each time they can't open each boxes. But storage company have different mechanism of storing in bins or on the floors, mezzanine floors or crates, and they each time on weekly intervals or fortnightly intervals they check the quality of their food. So they also lose the quality. They have better quality than the retailer, but they have inferior quality in comparison with the storage company. So first retailer sold their inferior quality apple to the consumer, and then when they finished their own, they started selling the apples with these auctioneer because this is the second chain for them. And these are better than the apple with the retailer, but not equivalent to the apple quality with the storage company. And also, these auctioneers lose money, their own money, by buying from farmers during harvest season and selling now to the retailer. So they also lose money and quality both. Now come to the storage company and the middle supply chain of this apple value chain. When these retailers and auctioneer has their apples stored, and they also have regular inflow of apples on regular basis from import, they started ignoring the storage company who had not bigger quantity of apples in comparison of last year's. They have only half. Everyone thought that this half filled capacity they can sell with the time with the half time, like this, in place of 6 months earlier. Now they can sell in 3 months, but everyone ignored that the consumer of apples switches to other fruits is one. This year, the consumers has impression that everyone have inferior quality apples two, and the retailers and auctioneers losing their money during first 3 months of season. So they are now switching to recover their money. The retailer thought they will recover the money with the apples from auctioneers, and auctioneers thought that they will recover their money from the storage company. So they started offering very lower prices to the storage company, and then these stored apple got more headache and more losses to the businesses of storage company than any years since last 10, 15 years of their experience. Now, they all are in May. The next apple will come from farmers' orchard and started from first week of July. So everyone has 7 to 8 weeks to empty their storages of apples, but they are still with 25% to 40% of apples in stores, which seems that it will overlap with the first apple crop of year 24 with the apples stored in 23. So this is the background of total supply chain of apples from Jammu Kashmir to Himachal to Uttarakhand and selling to the different part of India. What today's topic suggested by me is need to discuss by everyone, by the policymaker, by the farmers union, growers, their collectives, their cooperatives, by the storage companies, supply chain businesses, retailers, and efficient retail chain, and by the consumers, citizen in general, what we need to discuss for ensuring food security of consumers, quality supply for consumers, and decent livelihood sources for farmers with primary focus. These two are primary focus at two different ends, and to make a reasonable profit for all value chain businesses and comfort level for investor who put their money in those businesses. So all four players need to discuss how they can mitigate a risk by sharing responsibility and how they can share the profit with each other, with the stakeholders during their difficult time, with the security that everyone will be the production and supply of any food produced to their consumers and not switching over to the import. For in short time, import seems cheaper. It seems that the supply chain from other country will continue, will keep their production and supply sustainable at the same prices. But when any production area lose their production, any country lose their own production area, the prices in long term not remain same by the growers, by the suppliers of outsiders, and that is one, the price is one. But if sometime the situation is not in our control or behind the control of uh, due to any regions, either it's weather or any crisis from war or disease or pandemic, the food security of consumers of that particular country hampers. To do this, and what we practiced in our model that called cross-sector collaboration is one, and farmers as owners is two. These are our means. For the fair prices, we need to look on the fair prices of any food commodity produced by the farmers, distributed by the businesses, and where investment offered by the investor. We need to look on the price build-up arise at the fair prices. The fair prices are where no one will lose but win their livelihood, win their quality food, win their profit, and secure their investment on the minimum offered interest or dividend rates for the investor. To arrive at this fair prices, the price build-up should need that all four components: the produce, the technology, the finances, and the quality, the prices, quality food at reasonable prices should be ensured through the farmers, the businesses, the investor, and the consumer. I think the partnership of all these, or not partnership, if partnership is not possible, the collaboration of all these groups from different sectors needs to sit together, and with the help of regulators, with the help of policymakers, with the help of government, they need to ensure the food security, livelihood sustainability, their profit-making ability, and employment possibility through food supplies and businesses. For that, we are trying to make some demonstration and some practices with this idea with the apple growers. Now we also started doing this uh, with sugarcane and pulses in some area of Western UP, and with these small initiative, I'm thinking, I'm sure that at one day the farmer, businesses, government, and consumer will start discussing this model, this kind of idea, and will practice that for when. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is from my side. If any question is there, I will be happy to answer.
Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful talk. I will take up the questions from the participants now. The first question is, how do fluctuations in component costs impact the final retail price of Apple products?
Sorry, can you repeat this?
How do fluctuations in component costs impact the final retail price of Apple products?
I think so far no one is looking on this price build-up system. Everyone is speculating on the basis of what is the volume of production, have the policy for import, what is the market scenario, and expecting demand. So everyone is speculating. No one, I'm sure, we tried at our own at very small level, but no one is looking on the reasonable price build-up theories. If someone suggests to look on this, the short-term interest of farmers or retailers or consumers prevails over the long-term interest of businesses, quality of fruits, and wise investment in the industry, which is hampering the growth of this supply chain. Not only in the case of Apple, but everywhere in the agri-value chain. So generally, all the players are fixing their prices or estimating the prices on the basis of speculations, not on the basis of reasoning. Yeah. So commodity trading is generally practiced like a stock trading of share market. That should not work. That should not be the practice. It will not work because the prices of food commodity, particularly the fresh produce, is not determined by only one factor. There are many factors like weather, production, import, supply chain management, and many others to determine the fair price build-up. And that's why these three words need to consider. Fair is one, and this fair is sometimes 100, sometimes 50, and sometimes 150. So not the same, but it should be fair to get win for all, and not speculative that last year it was 150 and this year certainly it will either go up by 10 or bring down by 10. No, this kind of speculation maybe mostly work in the stock market, in the share market, stock exchange, but not with the agri commodity, and very less with the fresh produce.
Okay. How do competitors' pricing strategies influence Apple's pricing decision and its supply chain management?
With us, sorry, with us?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, many time, or not many time. Every year, I will start with the farmer. Every year, we have our farmers, the co-owners of the businesses. So that is one. No businesses having these strategy that they have co-shareholders or co-owners. The producers are not co-owners with the businesses. So we convince our suppliers who are collectively co-owners of the business that the if we lose 1 rupee by selling your produce to your own company, and the company will get that 1 rupee through the profit, it will comes to you. If the same we are doing with the investor, that if this year, due to any weather condition, any other, if you will not getting your installment back, because they are also the co-shareholder with the business, you will get more dividend next year. So sharing this risk from one season to another season, from one partner to another, and keeping the business going on at the same pace with more sensible price build-up will help all the partners. In our competitors' case, they generally offer more prices than the other competitor, and they got more supply, and it helps them many times. During last 10 years, I can say 7 years, 8 years, but 2 years, one before this, and this year, everyone in our competitors knowing and understanding that what they realized through those 7 years, they lose the same amount of money during another 3 years, and out of the same amount, 90% of those gains, they lose this year. So after 10 years, we are at the same level. We means our farmers. But our farmers have more dividends, and the ownership over these businesses is the added benefit to their competing farmers. We also, as a company, have an edge over our competitor that the assured supply of our farmers is benefited our company filling the full capacity every year. Every year. Even during last harvest season, our business team filled the 100% capacity. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any ethical considerations associated with Apple's pricing strategies within
By
its
us.
supply chain?
Yeah, ethical? Yes. Yeah. Because our price build-up determined by all partners, by the farmers, by the business managers, and by the investors. All sit together. In our competitors' case, this is determined, in everywhere is like determined only by the business managers based on the market volatility. Because that is true. We cannot go against the market. We cannot fix our own prices, but we as a partner can share the risk. For this year, for time being, for long term, for short term, we can share the risk. And if everyone will do like this, the speculative prices and inferior quality issues these challenges easily can overcome by everyone, by the businesses, by the producers, and by the investors at the same time. Yeah.
Are there any systematic issues within Apple's supply chain that contribute to pricing inconsistencies or shortcomings?
Yes, in the beginning, I explained that it needs very strong cold chain from farm gate to the retailer, which is lacking very much in India because we don't have any any efficient, proper cold chain system to deal with the fresh produce. And due to that, uh, based on different studies by different companies, one by World Bank also, I don't know, by the ministry, by the businesses, each one is saying that every year we are losing 10 to 25% of our fresh produce. And this is huge. If we convert this wastage into money, into fresh fresh food supply, this is huge amount, big amount. So investing in entire cold chain with the proper technology, with the wise uh, handling, with partnership of all players in the supply chain. This, at one hand, this wastage can be saved. It could be saved by the supply chain players, and at other hand, everyone can make money out of it. So that will also can lead for a win-win. But we are losing in every fresh produce supply chain. We need cold chain and efficient management supply mechanism to keep the quality of uh, produce at one, and to offer fair prices to the consumer and decent livelihood option to the producer.
Okay. I'll move on to the next question. What strategies could Apple implement to mitigate price shortcomings while maintaining its premium brand image?
One is building again the partnerships with businesses, producers, and retailers, at least not with the consumers, if not possible. So they need to support each other. They do not need to drag out everyone in a difficult situation, but they need to support each other, like consumer or their consumer association need to support their farmers to ensure quality supply, rather asking each time for cheaper food, inferior quality, cheaper food. They need to offer better prices, like in the case of organic, like in the case of fresh, or fair trade shops in European market. They need to offer some kind of extra benefits to their producers, and they need to be kind with their producers. They are producing foods for themselves, so they need to think about those kind of partners. The farmers do not need to look every time with the government to subsidize their production, or subsidize their prices in terms of competition with the import, but they need to ensure their consumer or the businesses who are facilitating them to, to produce quality goods, quality material for catering the needs of their consumers. And in that case, if these partnerships strengthen. If anyone even willing to build the partnership for win-win, they can they can make better quality to compete at fair prices with the import and with other competitors.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We have now completed the round of questions on behalf of agricultureinformation.com. We like to thank Mr. Laxmi Prakash Semwal for the talk and for answering the questions. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
most welcome, sir.